Imagine standing in front of a mirror at like 2 in the morning. You're exhausted from smiling, right?
Oh, yeah.
And your family feels distant because you haven't been home for dinner in weeks. And in maybe 4 hours, you have to wake up and ask strangers for money.
Right. That is the really quiet, invisible reality of running for office.
Exactly, because we usually only see the loud stuff, the rallies, the yard signs. But behind the podium, there's this intense emotional pressure that breaks a lot of people.
It really does. And, well, that's why today we're doing a deep dive into a stack of sources called the FaithFlow Campaign Series.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one.
Me too. It's a collection of books and reflective workbooks. And our mission today is to sort of step back and unpack the core thesis here, which is that the external chaos of a political campaign requires a highly intentional internal support system.
Right, because otherwise you just...
You just collapse under the weight of your own ambition.
Yeah. And the authors make a really compelling argument for this. I mean, you can hire the best consultants to script a debate or whatever, but if you don't manage how you're carrying the campaign internally, spiritually, relationally, emotionally, tactics won't save you from burnout.
No, they won't.
I think about it like constructing a massive building. Just like physical load-bearing walls distribute the weight of a heavy roof. These sources argue that you need an internal load-bearing system. They actually call it scaffolding for your soul.
Scaffolding for your soul. I love that phrasing.
Right, because without that structure, the emotional weight of fundraising or just constant public scrutiny, it just crushes the softer parts of your life, like your faith or your marriage.
Yeah, and to help build that internal scaffolding, these books include specific discovery tools in the back sections.
The reflective ones.
Exactly. And the central tool focuses on spiritual gifts. The mechanism is pretty straightforward. It just helps you understand how God has shaped you to serve.
Which is so important.
It is. Because once you identify your natural strengths, you simultaneously map out your pressure points.
Yeah.
Like if you know where you're naturally gifted, you also know exactly where the campaign trail is going to drain you the fastest.
Okay, but let me push back on that approach for a second.
Sure, go for it.
Because modern politics tells a very different story, right? The temptation is almost always to copy whoever is currently winning.
Oh, totally.
Like, if the loudest, most aggressive candidate is getting the votes, shouldn't you just adopt that persona to survive?
Well, the sources actually use this really fascinating comparison to address that, between a scalpel and a sledgehammer.
Oh, yeah, the scalpel analogy.
Right. So if you're naturally wired to be a precise, thoughtful scalpel, trying to act like a sledgehammer to, smash through a debate, that's just the fastest way to shatter yourself.
It's so true. You just break.
Yeah, that imitation is precisely what causes profound spiritual fatigue. And that's why the authors emphasize so much that these discovery tools are not personality boxes or labels.
They're more like mirrors.
Exactly. They act as mirrors. They provide this really safe space to look honestly at who you already are, so you can lead with clarity instead of forcing a fake persona.
Which is just unsustainable anyway.
Exactly. And they also bring in things like the leadership pathway, which looks at how you carry responsibility, and love languages for how you give and receive support.
Which is so vital. And the rest of the series really applies that internal logic to the daily questions candidates face on the ground, right?
Yeah, it moves from the theoretical to the highly practical.
Like, it covers how you even figure out if you're supposed to run in the first place.
Right, or how do you start a campaign? How do you fundraise? What do you actually say when a skeptical voter opens their door?
Or what about the really heavy moments? Like, how do you handle an unexpected crisis or manage family pressure?
Yeah, they cover navigating burnout, surviving election day, and even what life looks like after the ballot.
Well, the main takeaway across all these workbooks is just that running for office shouldn't be an isolating survival exercise.
No, it shouldn't. The FaithFlow Campaign Series shows that with faith-rooted guidance and practical reflection, you can lead with peace and integrity rather than being consumed by it all.
So if you're running for office, or maybe helping a candidate, leading a team, or just discerning public service, you can visit faithflowrootedministry.org to really understand this pressure before it overwhelms you.
It's so crucial to get ahead of it.
It really is. And we'll leave you with this final thought to consider on your own.
Yeah, what's that?
What would actually shift in our local communities if our leaders crossed the finish line entirely whole rather than spiritually depleted by the process of getting there?